Hello, everyone. I want to say hi, good afternoon, and thank you again for being with us this afternoon. Another Tuesday, special Tuesday in Tell Me Over Coffee. So, hello, Sebastiano. Hello, Amber. I'll be saying hello now because, well, as you all know, as usual, it's hard to say hello to all of you while we are having the interview. It's a bit complicated, but hello. Hey, Laura. Hi, Laura. Thanks for being here. And here is our guest who is going to be online today in a little while. Well, she's already there. She's saying hi. Hello, Inga. Waiting for Inga to... Okay, let me see. Here we go. And Inga is going to be online in a few seconds. Here she is.
Hi, darling. How are you?
Well, hello, you. How are you? Let me do this. Okay.
I'm kind of okay, but I'm squashed in a corner because we've just had a pipe burst in the house.
Oh.
Seriously, not my house, the whole block.
Wow.
So all my furniture is now in a corner. So if I disappear, don't worry, okay?
But will you be drowning or something?
I have no idea, but if you see these men walking in and out...
Okay,
I'm serious.
Okay, it's not going to be anything weird, right? It's not. It's
no.
It's, okay.
Yeah, you just have to wait and see. Are you okay?
Okay, so let's start this afternoon. First of all, I wish to thank you all for being with us today. Another Tuesday again with Tell Me Over Coffee. This afternoon's guest, as you may see, this beautiful woman there, she's just simply a passionate for life. Born in Singapore, of German mother and British father, she was destined to live in many countries. She studied ballet until she was 13. Then she moved with tap dance and continued to musicals, but her passion was acting. At the age of 23, she did her first photo shoot for Vidal Sassoon in London. I saw that photo and I can understand why. She's a woman with an innate elegance and naturalness, and the camera can only surrender to her feet. She has worked as a model for Vogue, Vain magazine, Dreaming Lens, amongst others. Her passion for acting has allowed her for over a decade to work as an actress in several films and TV series, both in Spain and abroad. Some of her works are Paradise Hills, Brexit, Still Star-Crossed, The Course of True Love Never Did Run Smooth, Cuanto Más Grande Mejor, Sabates Grosses, o Quina Joya. She believes deeply that vulnerability is part of your growth. Master of Ceremonies with a true forte in officiating weddings, she considers herself to be very fortunate to be able to continue to work in a profession she absolutely adores. Mother of 2 and grandmother of 4, who thinks she's the best granny in the world. Her motto, an image does not define me. What defines me are my actions. Inga Ladd, welcome.
Thank you. My God, that's amazing just to hear you going on and on. Lovely. Is that me? Is that really me that you would talk?
That's you. Yes, that's you. It's you. It's all you.
Okay, darling. All right, I'm listening. So
I would love to start, although that's not how I had initially thought I would start it, but I do like your motto a lot. So I would love for you to talk a bit about your motto An image does not define me. What defines me are my
Lolly. Sorry. Hi, Lolly. That is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, darling. You are. Hi, Angel.
Okay, now we are going to stop saying hi to people.
Okay.
Because we have to go on with the interview. And if we have time afterwards, these lovely people who are assisting our interview can ask you questions. And then we will be able to say hi. Okay?
Okay.
So, as I said, your motto, an image does not define me. What defines me are my actions. Why?
Very simple. I think when I was younger, I did many years of doing things very wrong. And it had a lot to do with my ego. And a hell of a lot to do with my insecurity. I started when I was very young, and there was no guidance. I mean, what happens today and what happened then, I was thrown in the deep end because I was convinced that somehow I was going to become an actress, a singer, a dancer, had no idea how. I was doing things against what my family wanted. My father wanted me to study. So I had a lot of years of ducking and diving. And I did things in a way I wasn't particularly proud of. And I spent a lot of years saying, I'm sorry. And if you say you're sorry, the impact of that word's very easy when you become so accustomed to using it. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But it was just a way of me getting out of something. So I think, you know, I was given a chance maybe about 30 years ago to kind of put my house in order due to some things that had happened to me in early years. Especially, I think, the loss of my father, because he was assassinated when I was 15. And I just went riot. And it wasn't until I was about 26 that I once heard somebody, and it was my father's words more than anything. And he used it in monetary terms. And he once said, you will never be defined because of the money you have in your pocket. It will be for the things you do and say. So be responsible. And I started changing due to other things that happen in life. I mean, my life's been very colorful. And I really realized that, yeah, my mouth was easy. It worked, you know, like overtime. I was a manipulator, and I got away with it, you know. So I changed. I really, really did change, and I changed the hard way. And so I decided that instead of talking about it, maybe I should own my own space and start doing it. And I did, and I have done. And if in doubt, I shout, you know, I ask for help. And I think that's where the vulnerability came in. I never asked for help. I was convinced I knew everything, as you do, I suppose. You know.
Well, yeah, we all do it at some time. And some
people change with that, and some people don't. You know, I was very fortunate. I was given a chance to change due to circumstances, and a very hard environment at the time. You know, but and I believe in that. So.
Okay, here we go with the first questions. We could say that there really hasn't been a transition from modeling to acting because, you know, more or less you've been doing that for quite some time now. But this is what many people don't know. Was it hard to start in the industry again when you decided to go on your own with your 2 kids?
Yeah, very. Extremely hard. I left my husband at the time due to my own choice. I mean, the split was very amiable, but unfortunately, financially, not due to his financial situation, but due to mine. You know, if you go, and you take the children and the budgie and the quilt of the bed, and that was about it. You know, I'd gone literally from riches to rags with my 2 little ones. You know, I think Benjamin, he was 6 at the time. So I wanted to pursue my career, but I couldn't because I had to work and feed 2 mouths. So again, it became very, very, very difficult. But due to the support system I had, and the support system were my friends. I was extremely lucky. The friends I had 30 years ago, 40 years ago, are still in my life today. And they filled in the gaps financially, as nannies, when I went back to auditions, when I started castings, you know, can you look after me? And I was very fortunate because Claudia, my daughter, she's 9 years older than Benny. So she was an enormous help, you know, but it's not easy. And I had a lot of doors closed in my face because nobody knew me anymore. I mean, we're talking about the gap was nearly 13 years. And I changed in so many ways, you know, and physically. I went from being very slim. This is one of the reasons I wasn't allowed to dance or taken seriously, because at the age of 13, my body changed. I went from this to this, these Germanic features I have, you know. So it was very difficult on all levels. But there was a persistence. You used the word passion, and you know me. You know me well enough. I mean, you know, I God's truth. I've got this burning desire. I look English, but I'm more Spanish than half the people I know because, you know, it's ali, 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 ali. I get very passionate, and I was convinced I was going to do it again. I just didn't realize it would be as difficult, and it was. I had a lot of doors closed in my face because I took a lot of insecurity into auditions as well. Will I get that for the children? Will I do that? There was only half of me going to an audition, and normally it was the insecurity, you know. So I don't know.
How long did it take for you to starting again with that situation with the children and everything? How long did it take for you to feel a bit secured?
I don't think I've ever felt secure. And you know this. I mean, I've just seen somebody who's joined us now. We did a film together not so long, Nancy, and we did, the last thing we did was Paradise Hills, you know. And I remember we were all there, and I mean, there was about 12, 14, 16 British actors that all had, you know, small, I mean, she actually, no, she had quite a big role. And all of us were bouncing on each other. Did I do that all right? Did I do, what do you think? Yeah, and what about, did I give it out? And we're talking about actors that are quite eminent and quite big names in their field, and everybody was bouncing off everybody, you know. It depends. It depends, Yassmine. For me, sometimes I do things and they're incredible, and I walk in there and no pasa nada. And sometimes for the least of thing, you know, I'm like a piece of jelly on a plate. But I think I started these last 8, 9 years, and it's got to do with my emotional disorder. It's far more level. It's even, it's cool. I'm okay with myself. I think that the thing is here, I'm really okay with me now. And you know my sense of humor. My sense of humor is hilarious. Nobody understands me, which is great. But I can laugh at myself. And I think when I started laughing at myself and stopped taking myself so seriously, not my work. I've always taken my work serious. I've always turned up. I'm extremely professional. I don't let people down. I give the best I've ever had. And if I don't give my best, it's because I just don't know how to do it any better. And then you'll say to me, Inga, well, why don't you go this way? And if I think there's something there I can take on board, I'll take it. I'm like a sponge. And you have to be all the time. I'm open to help, you know, and suggestions. And I have to look where those suggestions are coming from. And if I really trust somebody's criteria, I'll let them take me another way. But secure of myself, I think probably only the last 8, 9 years. And I think that's got to do with age as well, because I don't give a, you know me. Am I allowed to say that word or not? Probably not.
Well, I mean, it's an adult program, okay, so I think you could say it, but okay, you don't give an S for it, so. Yeah, I totally see you, and I do understand you. I think it's like you say, it is true that emotional stability, especially in this industry, the older you get, I think the better it gets, because you start feeling less emotional in the sense of feeling less, you know, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So that's really important because, you know, it makes you more serene and, you know, and just, you know, breathing and, you know, well, if I get it, I get it. If I don't get it, well, I don't get it. It's not the end of the world. Nothing's going to happen. I mean, the world, I mean, tomorrow is going to come and I'm still going to be there. So just move on to next, please. And it is important. It is important. And I do understand you. You did work in this TV series with, okay, she was a producer, an executive producer in the series, but she's one of my favorite TV directors, Shonda Rhimes. And how was it working in Still Star Crossed?
I think it was one of the most mind-blowing experiences of my life. Obviously, due to the enormity of it all. I mean, this is a production where lots and lots and lots of money, billions, I'm exaggerating, but I've never seen anything like it. So just to be chosen, I mean, so many people were casted for this. And the fact that from Barcelona, I mean, because they were shooting nearly 6 months in Cáceres. I was there for 6 weeks going backwards and forwards. And quite a few people from the village, I say village, the town where I live, I think there was 3, 4 actors from Sitges that were actually chosen, and we were all going up and down. It was brilliant. I mean, just to be part of that was amazing. And I think that's where I really thought I was going to fall to pieces, because on set at the time, and it was also because of the setting there, I mean, you have all these castles and these buildings. But I remember they had 6 script writers and they had directors coming in every 2 weeks. You know, I was just blown away. I think on this particular, on the episode that I was in, which is episode 2, and then I was supposed to be going for episode 4, they had 6 different directors on one episode.
Yeah.
So you started with one, you came, and on this scale, I'd never worked before. I'd never ever worked before. And the script writers coming over to me, and just on one word, a pronunciation, a sigh, even the move of your nose, you know, it was amazing. And I just took it all on board. And I thought I was going to fall to pieces because it was very dramatic, the scene. I was screaming and shouting. My son's head was just about to be chopped off, you know, the guillotine. We're talking about era. This was a retake on Romeo and Juliet, so costumes, you know. And on set, there was 360 extras around me. And there I am screaming and shouting. And I just couldn't get the words out. And the director came, he was from London, brilliant. He was beautiful, this guy. And he just said to me, how would you do it? And I said, well, if it was really me and my son was going to be killed, I'd probably scream my head off, fall onto the floor. And then all of a sudden he said, knee pads, screamed out for knee pads. And I thought, oh shit, what have I said? So they rewrote the thing, and I end up screaming, seeing my son, knee pads fell to the floor. And he said, bloody brilliant, Inga, you know. And then the 4th episode was cut.
Wow.
Yes. They didn't like, well, we won't go into details of what actually happened, but the pilot was shown, the 1st episode came out, and they snuffed it. But they spent millions on this. It was just put into a cupboard. It wasn't accepted, it wasn't picked up, it wasn't taken on board because they were playing, I think, something like the Red Trotters in America at the same day. That it was a disaster. And when we actually saw it, it looked like something from Walt Disney. I don't know what they did to it, but the experience, brilliant. Costume. I actually wore Johnny Depp's ex-wife's skirt because her name was still sewn into it, you know. No, it was crazy. Costume. Just to see the costumes. There was, how do you say in English, naves?
Warehouses.
Thank you. warehouses of vestuario, costumes, you know, amazing. And we traveled in 1st class. And I remember I saw a very famous British actress who was also in it. And we were traveling on the train, and I kept looking at her and I thought, is it her? Is it her? And it was. And as she got off the train, she looked like some kind of mad dog and Englishman. She had a suitcase and a script, and she was very eccentric. And I was there all prim and proper. And she said, "Are you in the show?" I said, "Yes, but just a very small part." She said, "No, dear.
There's no small parts.
Bravo.
There's huge acting.
If you're here for a reason.
True.
Don't you ever forget that." She said, "Because where you're standing now, there's 6,000 people behind you that would like to have that part." And I said, and then on set, she came up to me and she said, "Oh, you're the mother. So you're the one who's losing your son's head." You know, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And she was right. And she was right, because I think I've told you this in a couple of occasions too, that there is no such thing as small parts, but great interpretations.
Bravo. Bravo.
And everyone, all actor should have that motto in here.
Yes.
There's no such thing as small part.
Yeah, I agree. But I've never been on anything as big, and and it was wonderful. I didn't feel like something small in something big. I just felt that I was a part, which is very different.
You just got a bit lost in the illusion of the whole thing.
Yeah, but if I get lost like that every day, bring it on, babe, bring it on. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
What an amazing thing to get lost in.
True, true, true. A question.
Tell me.
You do work a lot, quite a bit. Okay. You work more, let's put it this way, in commercials. Do you think that you are maybe not working in fiction because someone is not taking care of it?
Am I allowed to say this publicly? Listen, you and myself, we've been around the block with this for ages. I have an agent for modeling. I have an agency for publicity. I have an agent for fiction. Okay, and they're all represented by the same house. Mm-hmm. And my agency is Salvador Models and Actors. And I'm going to tell you something. You know me. There's certain areas I'm extremely happy. I did have a very big loss 2 years ago. The head booker, Josefina Manzana, she died of cancer. Something changed for me. It really, really did, because some of the jobs I had, the best jobs I've ever had, we had together. And I just loved her as a person. I've always been very, very, very well taken care of in 2 areas, extremely well. But in another, and I keep thinking it's got a lot to do with me because I'm a British actress living in Spain. Mm-hmm. And then there's another part of me that says, bull, that's not true. Because if other people like myself are being presented for the same part, also with the same characteristics as myself, same nationality, same age, etc., 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 and then I bring it back to me and think, well, it's because my interpretation of X, I'm not of that standard. But then when I see the interpretation of what has been presented by somebody else, I'm thinking, are you serious? And I have this ongoing conflict. But then there's another thing, and we have to be very realistic, Yassmine, and you know this more than anyone. How often have we spoken about this? People say all agencies are the same. And I disagree with that. I really, really do disagree with that on a personal basis. I am where I am today because I choose to be there. So if I'm there for a reason. Not because I'm lazy, oh, well, I'll stay with them because better the person you know than the one you've yet to meet. No, it's because I really have done some amazing work there. Having said that, I think it is my time now, and I really believe this. I think it's my time, and as far as fiction is concerned, I still feel I have something to give. And just now, I received this afternoon, and I was going to talk to you about it. I will after this. A script has been sent to me. Nothing to do with my agency. Somebody who's also represented. It's actually a director. And he said, you would be great for blah, 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 blah. Would you like this? How good is your Spanish? And I said, well, if anyone that knows me, I speak Spanish, but with this incredible British accent. If you're okay with that, you know, this. And so he's going to send me the script. Now, I get a lot of things that have got nothing to do with my agency. And I wonder why. And this conversation is pending. And it was going to take place before the lockdown, but it hasn't, and it will. None of the people in my agency are actually working in the offices at the moment. They're all away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big girl, and I am where I am because I choose to be here. And if I want to do something about something else, I have to do it. I've written to a couple of agencies in Madrid. There's a casting director in particular. I'm very, very happy with the way I've spoken to her. I think she's pretty cool. She was suggested by somebody in Barcelona, and I'm going to see her. And if they say, come over here because the grass is greener, maybe I'll go over there for 6 months. Mm-hmm. Because if I don't move, nobody's going to move me, Yassmine. Nobody. You know, and the people that sit on their sofa, the fact that I'm sitting on my sofa now, you know that my job, and anyone like us, I go to work every day looking for work. That's my job. And when people say, oh, well, nobody gives me this, I don't get, because they're sitting at home on the sofa eating chocolate. Well, I don't eat chocolate and I don't sit on the sofa. Mm-hmm. I get up every day at 9 o'clock and I normally get back about 6:30. And I knock on people's doors and I write letters and I said, hello, how are you? And I do, and I go and I come and listen, maybe not now. I mean, talk about flogging a dead horse. And I don't flog myself. I just say, hello, I'm here. Maybe, I'm fighting with this cushion, sorry. I just say to them, maybe. And it's amazing what's come back to me. It's amazing the jobs I've got on my own. And my Instagram has been, today somebody asked to see my show reel, you know. Mm-hmm. And this hasn't come from my agent. I don't know why. And that is the honest truth.
Well, the truth, there's two things I would like to say. One is that not all productions in Spain are for Spanish speaking productions. There are many international productions, especially English speaking productions. So one thing I don't understand why you haven't been auditioned for English roles in Spain.
Or maybe I have been presented and they just don't like what they see.
Or I'm beginning to think it is true what you hear, you know, okay, that the time is there for each person, and maybe the time hasn't arrived yet.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I just think, you know, with this confinement, it's I mean, although I've been working from home for the past 3 years, this confinement has been giving me a lot of time to think and to slow down, just to slow down a pace and just take things differently and see it with a different view. And well, I mean, if it's there for me, it'll be, and if not, well, I'll just move on to the next story, and that's it. I mean, I'm not going to be wasting my energy. I'm not going to be wasting my time, and overall, and most of all, I'm not going to be wasting my illusions for something that may not be for me. It's as simple as that. I know what I'm saying, you know, and I do, and you know me, I do have passion, but I'm a very passionate person when it comes to work, especially. Whatever type of job I'm doing, whether it's sales or whether it's acting, I am passionate of what I do. And I dedicate it a lot of time every single day. And I do have an agent. And I'm like you, I'm not sitting on I am sitting at my desk because I use my computer, and but I'm constantly working, looking for a job in acting or whatever. I translate for others for their subtitles. I coach in other languages, other actors, whatever. I do a lot, but still, I'm still waiting. And I don't want to be waiting. So I'm starting to how you say it, to educate my mind and my heart, right, in this ungrateful job we have, that the word time, my time, it's not there. When it comes, wow, it came. And if it didn't come, it didn't come. That's it. You know, it's just like, you know, when you go to a ball and you're young, you're about 15, and it's your first ball, and you're waiting for the guy to come and ask you to dance, and no one's coming. Everyone's passing by looking at you, but no one stops and say, do you want to dance? And you're there getting all excited every time a guy passes. No, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just a question of age. I just got tired. So I just want to take things in another way, a more calmer way, and serene, and just, you know, just dedicate my time to something else. Still in the industry, because I do consider that there's a lot to do in the industry. And when my time will come, okay, let's use the word again, I'll be ready. But I'm not going to be putting 100% of my attention to that now, because I have other things that I can be doing until the day comes.
But I'm listening. Well, we know that we've had these conversations and time, and then you can look, and the only thing I do have is time. I mean, that's what I do, you know. I have time. I don't have responsibilities, i.e., I mean, I have no children here, I don't have this, I don't have that. I'm my own person, totally, and I can come and go as I wish. And I'm very fortunate, because if I'm not doing this, I'm doing that. And if I'm not doing that, I'm being asked to do the other. So working between the three, be it acting, be it publicity and modeling, you know, I do a lot of editorials. And I wasn't a model either. I mean, you know, I've knocked on so many doors. Again, I was told to go away because of my size. You know, I wasn't very slim, and I didn't look like the Walking Dead. I wasn't a 65-year-old who weighed like 35 kilos, you know. I've got my hips and ooh la la. So I know what it is to be able to feel that I've got so much to give in different areas, and everyone's saying no, no, no. The frustration I have pending, and it's not a frustration anymore, because I think frustration comes from expectations. And I learned this as little as 3-4 years ago. I stop expecting. I don't make anybody responsible for my well-being. And I used to get very resentful. Extremely resentful, but the resentment was towards myself, because of me expecting from others to make it all right for me. How dare I? How dare I? And it's nothing about being very good or very bad. I know I have an image. I know I have, as far as drama, you know, I like two géneros. I like comedy or drama. I've done the in-between. And that's brilliant. But I go either this way, where I do look like the Walking Dead, or I'm, you know, one of the best things I've ever done, I think, for the technique of it, was when I was an Alzheimer patient. And there was no voice, you know, it was just acting. That's one of the best things I've ever done. And then I've gone on to other things where I do comedy. I'm great at, and comedy is all about timing, you know this. But I haven't been given that role, esta papel. And I don't know if it's round the corner. I don't know if it's going to come, but I'm here. I'm here, ready and waiting. You know, this is the best I have to give at the moment. And tomorrow, I don't know what my best is going to be tomorrow. But I just know I'm not as disappointed today as I was then. And I've also said to you, and this is one thing I truly believe, when somebody says no to me, they're not saying no to Inga. They don't know Inga. They're saying no to an image, to the possible product,
They're saying no to a profile.
The language, the you know. Now, somebody asked me 2 days ago, they want a grandma. Do you know, I was just confirmed. This happened this week. I was confirmed for a shoot for Vogue. And it would have been my 4th time for Vogue, but a really, really cool shoot. In lockdown, we've been working 2 months with this. I've seen mood boards, I've been confirmed, they've spoken to my agency. This was Friday I was supposed to be shooting. Wednesday, we still didn't have the citation, we didn't know how, we didn't know the project. We've casted somebody else. And I said, pardon? Yes. We've casted somebody else. Thank you very much. Not this time. My agent went, mental. What? You know why? Because they wanted the grandmother. And I said, yeah, but I'm not the kind of grandmother they really, really wanted. They wanted someone quite bigger. They wanted golden lady, wanted more rip. In the beginning, the photographer wanted me. And I have been a grandma in several occasions, but they said no. But then I thought, okay, I understood. And now I've seen the person that they've casted and they're using. Totally understand it. And I was disappointed because it would have been one of my first jobs after the lockdown, even though I'm doing a lot of Zoom jobs and, you know, photograph editorials via Skype, etc. I was very disappointed, but after it lasted 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because they were not saying no to Inga, they were saying no to that profile. And I think a lot of young people have to learn that today. Don't be disappointed. If you go for 10 castings and you get 2 options and 1 job, brilliant. It's 10% of everything we do, if we're lucky. If we're lucky.
True. Let's move on. Talking about commercials. There's a specific one that you did, which I think was one of my favorites because of what you represented in that commercial. You were one of the images for Barcelona bridal campaign. Obviously, people who don't know this, it's a campaign for the Barcelona bridal, and obviously it's a bridal dresses and all of the girls, because they're girls, they're very young, and the only senior person there was Inga. And when I saw the photo of all of the girls together, including my girl Inga, you were, for me, you were the only person who really was bringing this huge inspiration to the whole group, because your message, the message was clear. We all are brides, no matter what age we are. And I just found it so beautiful that it was just a big wow. I think it's one of your one of the commercials that you've done that I most like.
Well, yeah, that is really strange, because I don't know if the shoot itself was called Diversity, and it hasn't actually been aired. There was a lot of publicity about it, but then it got squashed because of the lockdown. It was supposed to be aired on the 27th of April, and it was going to open up the bridal fashion show here in Barcelona, which is one of the biggest international bridal fairs in the world. And Diversity, a lot of people don't know. There were 7 models. There was a senior model that was Inga. There was a dark model. There was a Chinese model. There was transgender, a guy called Ricardo. There was the first, and she's very famous, Martina from Madrid, syndrome Down, you know, and there was, and then suddenly you have this lady who's 65, full of tattoos, you know, who was wearing a tutu, and transparency, and ooh la la, and it was all, the photograph just went viral and everybody went mad. They just thought it was brilliant. As I said, this now will come out in September, because this is when they're going to hold the bridal show here in Barcelona. What's going to happen to us? I have no idea. I don't know if we're going to be walking passerella. I don't know if we're going to be shown, taken out of the cupboard, and I have no idea. I do know, though, my image was exactly what you're saying now, because of the feedback. The people, the comments that were given to, I suppose, the art of publicity, spot photo, image, was unbelievable. They were inundated by people saying, "at long last." And not so much because of transgender, not so much because of Martina from Madrid. It was a conjunto, it was a collaboration, but because an older woman, and I mean, we went from the youngest model, who was 18, to me. So and the in-between was 23, 25 max. And then you had Inga. It did cause, it caused controversy as well. And it's better, it doesn't matter if they're talking about you or they're not talking about you. they succeeded what they set out to do. People spoke about it. And it was really cool. And the people that wrote to me in private, ladies, beautiful ladies, all shapes and sizes from all over, who have got married again. And they say when they go, you know, to shops to get dressed, and they're older, they're 40 and 50, and they kind of looked at, you want to get married in white, you want to do it. But the whole concept is, you know, anything goes. I think this is what they were trying to say. Anything goes. I mean, you saw the image of me. I looked like I was wearing a can-can. People didn't understand either, which was a shame because it was very subtle. The clothes we were wearing were not actually the bridal dresses. It was the interior clothing underneath. And everyone's saying, what an awful dress. And we're saying, no, that's not the dress. That's the pantyhose and the bras, and that's what the bride wears before she puts on the dress. And I thought that was lovely because they showed all of us, you know, and me with my ooh la la, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And I'm very, very happy because a lot of women were the way they wrote, they were like passionate and saying, God, at long last, bloody hell, that's amazing, go for it, you know. So very happy, really happy.
Yeah, it's cool because
what happens in September, because in September that's just going to be awesome, you know, when it comes out.
The message, the greatest message of that campaign is that women 45 plus are not invisible.
Yeah,
they exist, they are there.
Totally.
And if they want to get married with a tutu, they can get married with a tutu. Why not?
And if they want to marry a guy half of their age, why not as well?
True. And if the guy wants to wear the tutu, it's okay too.
I mean, why? You know, I hardly think I'm going to be wearing a tutu marrying a 65-year-old, you know. The last boyfriend I had, he was 42. And, you know, I know you didn't ask me that, but people say, it's the same age. It's not normal. I don't know what normal is. Define normal, and I'll show you a straitjacket.
No, I think the worst is when they say, he could be your son. And then all you have to do is just say, yeah, but he's not. So, I'm sorry.
Well, he could be my son, but he isn't. You know, it's not incestuous behavior. But I had a boyfriend and he was 42 and people were going, God, what? But the typical topic of all kinds, Yassmine, if I was a man 65 years of age and I had a 42-year-old wife, everything goes. I mean, that is mental. It's crazy.
It really wouldn't go because they would say she's there, she's with him for the money. So
yeah, well, the guy that was with me was not with me for my money, believe me.
he was for your body.
No. Do you know what he was with me for? My sense of humor and my incredible personality. And the fact that I laughed. He said it was great to be with a woman that didn't take herself seriously. Seriously, that is the biggest compliment. He said, Inga, and all we did is laugh. Sex is, it's the continuation of. I'm not promiscuous, you know me. I don't know if I should be saying this now, but we're going away. But it's all about the person. It's about the spirit. It's about the connection. And all the rest are just bloody taboos, which do not define me. They never had, and they will, and they just won't. You know me. So.
Yeah, I do. Question going back to Barcelona Bridal, because we're running out of time, and I would love for people to ask questions. But okay, these are going to be really fast and short answers, please. Because I love to talk, and you love to talk, so it's going to take us a long time to finish. When they chose you, did they already have someone in mind, a senior person to do this job, or was it because they saw your social media and your photos, because you have, I mean, awesome photos, and you are beautiful in any way, without makeup, with clothes, in a bathing suit, doing scuba diving, whatever. Yeah, I love you too. Now, what was it?
I'll tell you the truth. They chose somebody else prior to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea until a long time afterwards. I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And They said that she was very serious when they spoke to her, very fuddy-duddy, no idea. I didn't find out until later who she was. And then somebody saw me on Instagram. And it was someone who said, listen, if you're not going to use that lady, do you know this lady? And the artistic director, he saw my Instagram, and they contacted, no, they contacted my agent. They contacted my agent, and then she said, listen, they want you for bridal. And she said, and my agency, it's funny, they always are responsible. Blair Model Management are responsible always for the photo shoots, because they had someone there last year, but she was probably 30. And I said, oh, wow. And then when they met me, there was a point, and I will say this very quickly, there was a point in the photo shoot where everybody really did look like it was terrible, because the movement, the photographs, the different characters, personalities. I mean, it's 7 people and they all have their own agenda. And one was looking this way and one was, and to get this official photo. And in the middle of the shoot, but anyone who knows me knows I do this. And I just started singing. And the song I sang was 369, The Goose Drank Wine. The monkey chewed tobacco on the street Caroline. The line broke. The monkey got choked and they all went to heaven in a little boat. Clap, clap. But I sing that in like a Louis Armstrong kind of very deep. Yeah. They're all just like, she's mad. Then the girls started dancing. Then we started rocking. Then we did this. Then we did that. And everybody's kind of moving. Brilliant. It just takes one person. Just takes one person. And because I don't give a damn, you know me, sense of ridiculous. And afterwards, the art director came over to me and he said, you know, you are an inspiration for the younger generation, but it's not an inspiration. That's coming from Inga and her sense of, you know, I'm a comedian, you know me.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian. And when you can see, you know, and nobody's going to tell me to shut up because of my age. I can get away with murder at my age. I would never have done this when I was 20,
excuse me, you can get away in Spain, but not in the United States, okay? So
probably
don't go over there to do it.
Okay, darling, but I don't work there. Never lived there, and I have no intentions of going.
Okay, let's go on and let's get this is a really good one. Many people might not know that you are a master of ceremonies, and especially what you like most about that job is officiating weddings.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get married again because otherwise I would love for you to do it. But no, I've had my share. I think it's enough. But there might be people watching us that, you know, they might be very, very interested in well, getting married and you officiating the wedding. How's all
that?
That
would be awesome. I'm here. I started basically because where I live, I think one of the first weddings I ever did was a gay wedding for 2 of my friends. And one of them was going to get an actor, actually hire the services of an actor. And he said, Inga, would you do it for me? And I said, oh my God, and this was a long time ago. And then here I suddenly, and I did it, very nervous, the responsibility was enormous. They'd already got married, I think in London, and then they came over here. And I realized I absolutely loved it. It's, unfortunately, they got separated 6 weeks later, and that's a true story, but that's got nothing to do with me. They're now back together again, but that is true. They really did get separated. And since then, I've married all shapes and sizes, and people write to me from all over the place. Another gay wedding I did for 2 ladies from London as well that came in. That was beautiful. That was probably one of the most, and everybody was crying. I was crying as well because of certain things that happened. We all had to take shoes. It was all very weird and wonderful, but I get very involved with it, very, very involved. And it comes from a very emotional part of me, you know. I believe in the couple. I believe in love. I really am. I'm a soap opera kind of
Well, as
freak.
I said, you're a passionate of life, so that's normal in you.
Yeah.
Let's get to the almost last question, because I would love that the last question be asked from someone. Okay, you once said, in the end, we don't know if my dreams will come true or not, because everything is a process. But today, I am the best version of me. Now, Inga, you have lived quite a bit. I mean, you've done a lot of things that have fulfilled you and others that haven't. Are you where you want to be?
In this moment, in this very moment, I want to be here talking to you. That's a conscious decision. I've no idea where I want to be. I've never known where I've wanted to be. I don't think I'll ever be able to answer that. Maybe you'll answer that when you come to me the day, you know, they put me in the ground or something. I've no idea. I just know, God, that is really, really strange. You should ask me that, Yassmine. I think I am where I am today because of the steps I've taken. And I'm responsible for those steps. Could I have changed them? Yes. One thing I do realize lately, though, is my lack of tolerance and patience. And not just because of the lockdown. I think I lived at home on my own for literally, 72 days without seeing family and friends. And because I get on with myself, that helps. I really do get on with me. So that was quite easy. There's no frustration anymore. Before I thought, I've got to do this. I have to do, and this need, it's not a need anymore. It's not a necessity. It's a want. So I'd love to be able to do certain things. Whether or not they're going to arise, I've no idea. But where I am today, that's okay. That's okay too. And if I do okay by me today, maybe tomorrow's going to be cool as well. It's my today that defines me, not tomorrow, because that hasn't come yet. It doesn't belong to me.
Okay. One last question, and then I'll just ask if anyone has a question for you. Going back to acting. Film or theater?
Film. You know why? Because of my panics. This is one of the reasons why, when I was younger, I was chosen for various parts, and I think I was pretty good at what now I can say it in hindsight. The contact with the public. It's really, really strange. I don't react. And I love theatre. I did theatre, but many, many, many years ago. And I think theatre is far harder than film. I mean, film is stop, take, cut, stop, take. It's the technicalities. But theatre, it's such a compromise. It's such a responsibility. And I was very in touch with how the audience would react to me in all shapes and sizes. I did take it very personally. And I haven't done theatre for a long, long time. I think the last time I was actually probably 10 years ago. And that wasn't here. That was in the north of England. But I would definitely say film. I'm okay in front of a camera. And I have I love the theatre. I adore the theatre. I can lose myself there better than the cinema, But anyway, that's where there is,
I mean, it's just like Carlos Cervera is saying now. Carlos is an actor and a director, an independent director here in Spain. He says, I love the contact with the public. It's not the same, obviously. The contact that you have with the public in theaters is definitely not the same thing as in film. It is true that, okay, many won't like what I'm going to say, but it is much easier to shoot in film than to do a play.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. I've always said this. And I'm just reading what he says. Wow, I love, the contact with the public, and I agree with you. But this comes from something very personal. It's mine, you know me. There's this acute shyness. Now I'm sitting at home on my sofa, and it's a tremendous responsibility. And I don't think I had the technical background because I never went to drama school. I came in through the back door. I've always said that. I've never been taught the technicalities. I was never given that structure. And I think sometimes it's essential, you know.
It is.
And if I was
Definitely.
asked today, if
Yeah.
I was given the role today, you know, I was asked last year, do I want to be here in the Christmas, but they do quite a spectacular. At the time, I couldn't do it. If I'm asked to do it, would I? Of course I would. I've no idea, but it's something that's not been offered to me. And between the two of them, comparison, I think one is far harder, and I think it's theatre. I think the fatigue of filming is very different. That is very, very different. The hours, the process, because it's not about your acting, it's about everything around you. You know. So, but good point.
So, Inga, before we go on and ask anyone if they have any question for you, I just would love for you to give a tip to any 45 plus lady that wants to become a model or that wants to become an actress. Is there an age for everything?
Years gone back, I would have said yes, but today, no. Look what's happening out there. I mean, look how many people today are out there, babe. In all shapes and sizes. And I say that in all shapes and sizes. It's incredible. They pop up all over the place. You know, modeling, I mean, people of my age today, 50, 60, 70, 80, some of the best magazines and editorials are being represented by these incredible women and men. You know, Passerella, I did Zero Argento this year, and it's that they're all going crazy. The crowds went absolutely ballistic. All these senior models, you know, walking, and again, different shapes and sizes. People were just over the moon. I know people now who are doing debuts at the age of 60 in films. You know, I was featured, what happened? I got into Vogue when I was 62. I went into Vogue at 64. I'm coming back into Vogue at 65. All different, you know. Today, what I've been asked to do, they want a 65-year-old grandmother. Awesome. Why not?
Let's see. Carlos Cervera is asking you, what do you think about cinema and beautiful faces? I mean, what he means, you know, film. Only beautiful faces, or people should really go for talent and not as much as beautiful faces?
Oh, it has to be talent. It has to be talent. If you look at cinema, how many beautiful faces? Well, no, seriously. I mean, look at the today. I don't know if you've seen something. The Catherine Hepburn photograph of that's been published today. Okay, there's in cinema today. I have never seen such an array of different images, real authenticity, bumps and lumps, and big and small. The Hollywood era of beauty, sheer beauty, is not what is being seen today in the cinema. No, beauty has nothing to do. Honestly, it helps.
So we only have 1 minute and 46 seconds. I want to say hello to everyone, and I want to say bye to everyone. And I would love to just thank you all for being here this afternoon, getting to know my friend Inga Ladd a little bit more. I would love to thank Inga for sharing her life, part of her life, with us. And I hope to have Inga back again. I would like to tell you guys that I will put Inga's social media on the video so you guys can follow her career. And our guest for next Tuesday is the international actor of Egyptian origins, Victor Montaser. So just thank you all. Please be responsible, and don't forget to stay safe and wear your masks. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Inga.
Love you. Bye, sweetheart.
You too. Bye. Thank
Bye.
you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Be good.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Love you. Love you.
You too. Bye.
Love you.
See you soon.